job and missed a paycheck. And that is putting the squeeze on family finances. As Lisa Desjardins reports, many federal workers are now turning to local food banks to help put food on the table.
So y'all know y'all out with Snapchat Queen and AI chatbot friends. Boy, it's about to get juicy out here. Hey, look, I don't own the rights to this video or audio, right? This for learning purposes only. We learn in dialogue. This is PBS News Hour organization. And I told you we're just going to go over some of this stuff that's coming across our screen at this point, right? To see this dialogue that's going on, right? So this is the channel I'm watching. PBS News Hour, organizers, my fault, y'all, organizers, right? Who we finished with this coffee, boy. There we on this herb, like, boy, they want some smoke, so we gonna listen to this right here, y'all. So now, right, I told you we're inside of a war against America with our resources. So now this is them coding with thinking they're gonna take our food away through the food banks, because notice they're gonna be talking about all these are federal workers, right? People who have gotten into our government system to steal our personal information through these federal jobs, right? Because everything boiled down to them living off federal dollars, right? So let's listen to some of this dialogue and what's going on and break down some of this language, family. Let's check it out.
In Northern Virginia today, hello, a line of cars that stretched nearly a mile, made of federal workers stretched thin by the government shutdown.
Now, you notice they said federal workers stretched thin through the government shutdown, right? Now, you see how fast them shutting their government down worked against them, right? And I told you we in a war because we're going to look at these codes real quick while I got to pause, right? Now, you see the earrings, right? You see the wigs, you see the caps, right? Those are codes, right, that they're following with each other. The fight, black and white. That's them fighting over paperwork, black and white, right? Federal money resources, right? These are federal workers fighting over money, right? See the glasses on her face and the teeth. Birthright citizenship, right? That's them coding with the ponytails, right? That's them coding inside the federal government of how they was going to come in through the federal agencies, through the police departments, right? And take down America. These are what we talk about when we say a race. Well, it has nothing to do with no skin color. It's about paperwork, money, right? How to get our stuff out of here. Here come the trucks they taking it up out with, right? Now let's continue to break down this dialogue of how these terrorists got into the federal government, because this is all them still in federal government positions, right? Who now done put themselves in position to take it out through the food bank.
The funds that I do have are pretty much depleted by this point.
Now she said that the funds that she had is pretty much depleted, right? Those are code words, right? That means the Americans have put their foot down, right? And want to know where this money is, right? That means her accounts have been frozen. Her credit card must ain't be working all together, right? Because her funds are depleted. She didn't put no money to the side, right? While she was working in this government job, right? Because her whole life depended on the federal government taking care of her. Now you see them out here coding, right? That's the capital, right? That's the food, the spoon-fed babies, right? That's them wanting us to take care of them still because they want to be spoon-fed. They don't want to get out here on these trees and pick off their food to eat. They want it to be handed to them. That's why it's capital, right? You got to listen to their words, right? This is a train right here, pipeline, right? Now let's continue to listen. See how they got their tails up? That's another sign that they use working with each other. They always got their tail in the air, right?
It's the third day the Capital Area Food Bank has specifically served federal employees.
This one's dry goods.
this time at 2 different locations. Unpaid workers and contractors waiting in line said they've had to make cutbacks, like...
Now, mind you, these are federal workers who none of them look American, right? Because we're not dealing with a race with skin color. You're dealing with a race war with money on paperwork. Right? What's the easiest way to move our services and goods around? Is through a food bank. Right? What's the best way to box it up, move it out without us knowing where it's going, thinking that it's food in these boxes, knowing there's other stuff in those boxes with that food?
Valley Bennett, a single mother who works for the Department of Homeland Security.
Now, she a single mother working for the Department of Homeland Security. That's them telling you they done got into our Homeland Security Department. Right? Because as she's saying that, right, you see these tags are Maryland tags, right? She has her tail turned up with the boxes, right? See what type of car they in, box it in, right? These are the trucks behind it. That's them coded. That's them coded. Just like these gnats and flies that we see outside and bees and wasps that we see outside on Halloween in October.
I have a kid in college, a senior in high school. A senior in high school, you know.
Now, you notice she said she got a kid in college and a kid in high school, right? See the glasses on her face, right? You see the look at her face. You see the earrings. And then you see what? The lamb, right? The sheep and wolf clothing. You see the symbolism on the car back here, right? That's them stealing. This is the sheep and wolf clothing. You got to think about how they coding with each other. You see the one right here on her microphone, right? That means stand on one. United. It's time to fight. That's them fighting us with our services, right? You got to understand that they don't talk with words and dialogue verbally. They talk with each other in codes, even down to the cars they driving, right? You see, they don't look like they did much in despair based off, look at the vehicles they driving. Look at the clothes they wear. Look how well kept they are. Of course, they in despair if this lifestyle off the American backs, that federal dollar got cut off.
It's a lot of celebration, a lot of things that you want to do since it's your last year in high school. And we have to slow down all the activities.
More than 1 million federal...
Now, why would she be worried about activities at a school, right? Not, okay, why this school ain't teaching my kid how to grow this food, right? Why this school isn't teaching my child while they did all these hours how to be self-sufficient so that as a adult, I'm not in a panic or uproar because I know that this ain't the end of the world, right? I mean, we got to think logically as adults and not as a child or as a grown person who working in a federal government position who can't think beyond a food bank box with a spoon on it feeding her. Right? Especially when the food grow outside on the trees. That's way more healthier than all the food in that box. Or is that them coding, stealing things in these boxes, right? How they laid it out in the truck, right? Let's go.
Employees today missed their first full paychecks since the shutdown began. That includes Zeleny Johnson, a mother of 3 who works for the U.S. Navy.
Now, why they trying to have her up there looking like that? Now, if that won't rehearse, I don't know what it is. Then look at the earrings. See how she was ready? I mean, we got to break these codes and dialogue down with how they talking in clothes. Like, how they talking in clothes, right? Right? How they talking in codes, right? How they talking with their clothes and popping tags, right? I mean, we got to understand dialogue, right? See the hair, the tracks, see the earring. First thing she want to do is show them teeth, right? Act like it's the black woman outside begging, right? The American black woman like me outside begging in the food bank line because the food stamps got cut off. The peep game. I'm the one she trying to imitate that's out here begging, but I don't get food stamps. She the one as a federal worker panicking over how she gonna eat because her job ended. So she could think like Coletta outside the box. Let's continue to listen and how they panicking because the free ride is over. How they now trying to move the food through the food banks, coding through the food banks, even on the PBS news hour, right? Coding with each other through the news, right? Thought they were gonna still continue to steal. What they call it, Plan B, y'all. This they Plan B family. Let's listen to their dialogue.
It's terrible. It feels really bad. It's definitely not a good feeling to not get one today, but then to also know that you don't know when the next one is coming either.
That after Senate Republicans
Now, you know that she was smiling and smirking in that part, right? Now, for somebody to be in such distress, right? She don't look like she was distressed at all. Let's get back to her role play, y'all. Let's see her part again. Hold on. Because now they trying to play, but hold on, family.
who works for the U.S. Navy.
It feels terrible. It feels really bad. It's definitely not a good feeling to not get one today, but then to also know that you don't know when the next one is coming either.
Now, that sounds like somebody playing games, right? That Minecraft, right? Right? Girl, this just our plan B. Look how stupid they is, right? That don't look like a federal worker who in distress about losing no paycheck. Well, y'all go check this video out, man. You got to break out their dialogue. This is them all in the Senate. I ain't gonna go too far, but I just wanted y'all to see that and how far they trying to go with stealing and coding in the food banks. Now I'm gonna go down to this part right here, because this part she talking about the credit card. Hold on, y'all. Let's see. Hold on. Let me get down to this part. Now listen to how they demand it.
and this summer. So we have already been doubling our distributions since pre-pandemic, and also adding another 5 to 7 million more meals that we're distributing into our community this year as a result.
Now you see how they got the can coded right here with the time, right? Right? You gotta pay attention to how they coding, right? They also listen to her word. They demanding. Baby, what are you demanding? Right? You demanding us to give you our stuff or what? Let's finish this. Let's finish this out. And you see the spoon, right? On the boxes. Spoon fed. Give it to her. We demanding y'all to give us y'all stuff.
Of these federal policy shifts.
Do you have the resources to handle the demand you expect and the demand you're experiencing right now because of the shutdown?
The only way in which we're able to increase the amount of food that we distribute into the community is through the generosity of those around us and who are able to support us in the community. These are individuals, companies, foundations who've really risen to the occasion, having seen this incredible need across the community.
I hear that strategy, I hear that community that you're relying on, but how do you feel about the potential need ahead? This shutdown could go on for weeks more.
Now you heard what she just said, right? Let's break down Queen dialogue, because sometimes you got to back up. right? You see the codes, the green dots, right? See the earrings, right? You see the blue, the white, right? Democrats, right?
And seeing right now because of the shutdown?
The only way in which we're able to increase the amount of food that we distribute into the community is through the generosity of those around us and who are able to support us in the community. These are individuals,
Now
companies,
notice she keeps
foundations
saying,
who've really risen.
you notice she keeps saying in the community, right? When she's referring to in the community, she's referring to them in their community, not the American community, right? This is them feeding themselves in the food banks, right? This is their community, not the whole population as us as a whole, right? That's all them being selfish with our stuff, demanding our stuff, right? While they talking about in their community.
Risen to the occasion, having seen this incredible need across the community.
I hear that strategy, I hear that community that you're relying on, but how do you feel about the potential need ahead? This shutdown could go on for weeks more.
We are concerned about how long this shutdown is going to go on for. Our hope is that this shutdown will really come to an end pretty quickly.
So they hoping, right, that they can hurry up and run off with our stuff pretty quick, right? Because you got to remember, their mindset is to shut down the governmental systems, right? Run away with our stuff because it was defund the police, right? And all that they was hollering with Black Lives Matter, right? Because you got to think, it's not about color of your skin, right? It's not about the color of your skin, right? It's about what you label with in these books on paperwork when they come over here. You see the books, right? It's about what they label themselves on paperwork when they come here, right? That's them demanding us give them our stuff because everything goes back to our federal dollar system, right? Goes back to our federal dollar, right? Everything go back to our federal dollar. Right? Let's listen to this and I'll cut it off.
Worry is that for each additional week that we have the shutdown, we're seeing just an incredible level of demand in the community. To give you an example, at the 5 distributions we had this,
an incredible level of demand in the community. I mean, what happened to asking? How is it that it's the American taxpayer job, duty, and responsibility to take care of y'all off this whole federal system? And now that the Americans is asking, okay, where is our money? We need some of our services. Now you're stealing it. Demanding that we give you more. Because you ain't got enough. Boy, let's break this down real quick.
we what we had planned for, we had to double, and even then people left.
Now what they planned for, they had to double, right? Because you see the hand on the bag, right? They got their hands all in America pockets, right? In the box, right? Take it off, right? Right? Fuck America. You see the finger up, right? Why they demand that we give them more? Why they stealing? Saying, fuck us. Y'all know I cuss in my video. These videos are for grown folks.
Without getting food. So as we look ahead to next week, we're planning for about 400 families that we can provide food for at each of these different distributions.
Now you notice what she said about 400 families. See how she came forward, right? Projecting, right? We need more, right? Right? Projection, right? What does that mean if I come to you like that, right, and tell you I'm demanding you to give me my stuff, right? That ain't no good projection, right? 400 more, y'all. Come on, drop down. Let's bring it on, right? That's them war strategies, right? War tactics, right? There you dealing with the Hunger Games, right? The food poison, the food distribution, playing games with the food. Look at the energy she's giving while she's demanding, right? Body language, earrings, right? Necklaces, codes, books, pictures in the background, right? This is them over here demanding. Blue, Democrats, right? Demanding. The Democrat Party wasn't for you to come over here and think you were going to take over our country, baby. You supposed to be demanding for everybody, baby, as one, not y'all just by yourself. Off the backs of somebody else, coding with the time. In the background. Time to do what, baby?
Today, when I was speaking with workers, one of them, I was in her car. She was told that you may run out of food before she got to the front of the line. And I saw her face immediately start to crumble. She almost started sobbing in front of me. She recovered quickly.
Yeah, you know, that's her line about the story. We don't want to hear that part. We want to get to this credit card part. Hold on.
There's just tremendous anxiety across our community at this stage. People are already destabilized as a result of so many of the federal policy shifts earlier this year.
Now, you notice she said people already destabilized. And we just showed you with their fingers up, right? Now they showing you a picture with their tail out, right? While they got their bags, right? One foot in front of the other when they go steal our stuff this way. I mean, if they paying people to walk around to smell like feces and urine, they paying people to stand on the corner of the big and be homeless, why wouldn't they federal workers stoop down this low to tell us to continue to kiss their ass while they thought they were going to steal through the federal government?
Year. And now they're struggling because they're uncertain whether this is just a temporary loss of income and a cash flow issue, or whether they are going to be paid at all, for this period of time.
Now, you notice she keep only talking about cash flow, right? It's all about the federal dollar and cash flow, right? That is them talking on how they thought they was going to do the Americans, right? Mess with our economics, right? Mess with our food, right? Listen to the dollar. Y'all go back and watch it in its fullity, right?
And so we've heard from so many, like the woman who you saw today, who are trying to negotiate their utility bills. They're trying to...
Now, they talk about how they thought that we was going to negotiate our bills and all this stuff. I mean, you got to listen to their dialogue on how they thought they was going to take over America. And look at the energy she's giving to this video as she's speaking about it. I'm trying to get to this part where it's talking about this credit card part she was on, family.
Who are trying to negotiate their utility bills. They're trying to pay for basic things on credit card just to get by. So this...
Yeah. There it go. You heard how she said they trying to pay for basic things on credit cards, right? Just to get by. We all know that a credit card means you ain't paying no bills still, baby. So where is the money that you were receiving while you was getting a paycheck to work this federal job, baby? Because it don't account that you're getting a food bank. You in the food bank line. You got paid good salary as somebody working in the federal government. It did not take y'all that long to deplete your money because the government have been shut down 3 days. The government not been shut down that long for your accounts to have been depleted that quick, right? Now you saying that, okay, we didn't spend none of our work money. We were still using credit cards. That's you putting the credit card money in the wraparound credit card system, still not paying. So where is the money? Where is the money that y'all supposed to build up your local communities, right? So that it helps everybody as a whole, baby. There's no way the federal government shut down and y'all already holler bankrupt. There's no way. I mean, I can understand if y'all were just regular working janitor jobs or McDonald's jobs or restaurant waiting table. But baby, you in the federal government, that's bad budgeting on the federal level. That means if you can't manage your money and you up there handling America money, baby, that's a problem. That's probably why the $1 trillion deficit ain't going nowhere. Because, baby, if your money already gone and you working for the federal government, baby, if I had a federal government job, especially with what we paying y'all, baby, ain't nowhere in the world you telling me your money depleted in a couple of days. And you living off a credit card according to you. You're paying a credit card, which is a small monthly payment of what the big bill is, or the bill $500, and you only got to require pay $49 a month on the credit card, you still getting off. Even if you only got to pay $100 on that credit card, you still getting off. Well, we gotta break this dialogue down. I got to go, family. I just wanted y'all to break this down and listen to some of this dialogue that's going on out here on how they thought they was gonna take America down, and now they messing with the food. Boy, you like Snapchat queen, boy, AI boy. That boy, you got to have some smoke. Boy, I got to get me a lighter, boy, cause they wanted some smoke. I mean, they wanted to take America down so bad and don't want to go home. That's what we don't get. It's easy to go home, baby. It's real easy. You just go home. I mean, we don't understand the logic of them thinking they're going to come over here and demand us to give them our stuff, and we just going to give it to them. Well, we got to learn dialogue and the art of their war without fighting the Americans by trying to come in and suck up our resources, even putting themselves on news stations, right? Wetbacks, right? You got to think of their dialogue, right? Total raise, that's them raising up the money now, right? Partnership, right? Collaboration with each other, right? With our stuff. Them demanding our stuff. Theologies in these books that they done put in their head to come and take down America. And man, it ain't working. You like with Snapchat Queen, the AI chatbot Fritz. I don't own the rights to this video or audio. This is for learning purposes only. Fair use agreement. Hey, we learn a dialogue with PBS kids and grown folks. News hour. Straight like that.